We've got a bit of a house update.
Well, it's not exciting or particularly great news.
You're a shoplifter.
Hang on a second. I wish that we had the straight onto mummy's skin moment.
And I wanted to get your opinion on a nanny.
I hated having her in the house.
Maybe we should just
Use the femidom.
So I think in the interest of being authentic, we should update you guys and let you know that... Hi guys, welcome back to He Said, She Said, the podcast that is hosted by myself, Louise, and my partner, Ryan.
Oh, you did it again. You said the word partner.
Oh my God.
I can't wait to get into this.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Wait, what's wrong with partner?
It just sounds so official and like transactional. Here's my partner.
You're my pod partner.
Yeah, but I'm also more than just your pod partner.
So you hate the word partner?
You did a story the other day on the weekend, and you introed that story in such a bizarre way. It really jarred me.
Wait, what did I say?
You said you were in the kitchen, you were looking at the cinema outside, and you were like, guys, me and my partner have built this cinema. And I'm like, first of all, it's not we. But secondly, like, partner just sounds so bizarre to me.
But I can't call you my boyfriend because we're 35 now.
Call me a fiancé. I'm
not going to say my fiancé every time I talk about you. Oh, here, this is Ryan, my fiancé. Nice to introduce him. That was clunky anyway because I'm just so bad at talking.
If I had my phone, I'd play it for you because it was weird. And Carlos was like,
did I say partner?
Carlos sent me a message. He was like, I've got a problem with this story. He's like, she sounds like, I don't know, just very different in this.
Oh, so I was actually talking in the video as well, saying my partner and I.
Guys, my partner and I.
Okay, I will just call you Scooby then.
Well, no. That was my nickname for you.
All right. Okay, well, we're here, Ryan and I, my fiancé and I are sat here talking about stuff where we bear all about our lives and have some tricky conversations.
Right on.
Is that a good enough intro for you?
Yeah, sure.
Hopefully you guys will relate to some of what we talk about. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with other people. What were we talking about just before we started recording? Theft.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a lot of theft going on around us lately.
Yeah, I tracked down Harry's killer.
I think because, so you tracked down Harry's killer who stole her backpack with all of her essentials in, her underwear, her clothes, her makeup.
I would have put laptop and phone at the top of that list, but yeah, sure.
Look, thongs can be very expensive. And
found him. He's in jail.
You found him. We obviously spoke about the bike scenario a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah.
But we were actually talking about how some people are addicted to thieving. They get a bit of a thrill out of it. And I think that the spectrum of stealing things is quite wide, isn't it? But I just remembered that you used to steal stuff from shops. You're a shoplifter.
Hang on a second.
You are. When we first met, your friend, Carlos, who gets way too much airtime on this podcast, told me that you used to steal mugs from coffee shops and you take them home.
This is factually...
And line your cupboards with Costa and Starbucks cups.
No, I took one coffee cup from Starbucks.
Have you ever taken a cheeky Haribo or like sweet from a pick a mix in the cinema?
All right, I'll bear a truth here. When I was at school, I remember going to get pick and mix every whatever day it was. And we cottoned on to the fact that it was done on like the size of the cup, not really the weight. So you back in the day in Woolworths, oh my God.
Loved Woolworths. Woolies.
Pick and mix Woolworths. Oh, yeah. Anyway, we used to put packs of chewing gum at the bottom and then we'd put the sweets on top because the chewing gum was like basically more expensive than the pick and mix at the time.
Oh.
And we'd like do that on the regular. I'm like, yes.
You're so
got myself some
thrifty.
juicy fruity on top of that.
And you weren't supposed to put the chewing gum in as part of
Well, no, because that's not from the pick and mix section.
I think you've become better behaved since we've been together. Maybe you can just afford to pay for things now.
If my dad was here, he'd be like, yeah, he's an absolute criminal.
I remember that was another thing when we first met.
I used to stand behind people in the tube turns and I used to like go through and not pay all the time. I was that guy.
You are a bit of a criminal. He used to call you a blackguard. And I just remember thinking that's such an ugly word to say. It's like an onomatopoeia. It just sounds like a bad egg, a bad person.
Yeah, I was young. And
what does that even mean?
What?
That word. I don't even want to say it again. It doesn't sound right.
Which one?
A blackguard.
Jammy.
Okay, so you kind of just like
You're jammy.
Jam your way through life.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you want to talk about today? What updates have we got? We've got a bit of a house update. I know people were very interested when we were talking about that. Why are you rolling your eyes? Because it's not very exciting news.
Well, it's not exciting or particularly great news, but I suppose we could spin it into a positive.
We've got to be real because this podcast is very real. So I think in the interest of being authentic, we should update you guys and let you know that, as it turns out, we cannot afford to buy a second home in the way that we wanted to. And I can't believe that it's taken us 6 months to figure this out. And I do think that it's a slight case of too many cooks spoiling the broth. We took advice from many different people, and looking at past experiences, when I've just bit the bullet and made a decision on my own, I've gone for something, I've committed to it, I've bought it, and I've dealt with, like, you know, the tax implications as an afterthought and the aftermath, and I've always made it work. And I think that's the thing about making these big financial decisions, is that sometimes you kind of need to take a risk. There's always going to be a cost benefit. And we twiddled our thumbs and stewed over it and spoke to many different people, accountants, financial advisors, buying agents, and we were really distracted. And I think we were taken off course when it came to following our vision. Anyway, we basically realized that stamp duty was going to be near enough 17% buying this second home, either through our personal accounts or through a business, if we wanted to make it kind of a business venture and turn it into, you know, an Airbnb or grow it into something different. And we would be paying out 100K a year just in tax to make this a viable opportunity, which is a lot. And the things that then we could put that into seems a lot more sensible. Yeah. How do you feel about this?
I feel, to be honest, the whole, because we put quite a lot of time into that house search. I learned a lot because it was my first exposure to that sort of stuff. So it's not time wasted. Saw a lot of guff, saw some really exciting stuff. The one that we landed on was very, very exciting. But then, you know, it's not the right time. We don't have the amount that we would need in our personal accounts to make something like that work. So I don't know. I kind of went from like a holy smokes, we're about to do this, my dream's about to come true, and I think we both mentally moved in, and I was thinking about like the times where you would get the train from Paddington and I'd pick you up at the other end, and I was like romanticizing all of that stuff. So to then like almost have the rug pulled underneath our feet on it was a little bit upsetting. But I don't think it's something, you know, that I'm dragging my heels over now. It's
we moved on quite quickly. I think what's meant for you went
because when they said that you'll be losing 100K in tax and just mortgage repayments alone before you even get into...
No, the 100K was just on tax regardless of exclusive.
Well, that's enough. Okay, so there's more to it, but just that figure alone is enough for me to just turn it off like that.
The flip to all of this is that we've decided now actually that it is a goer to rent. Woohoo! And do you know what I hate about that is that so many sensible people in our lives, my mum and a couple of my mum's friends, had suggested that we rent first. And I thought they were being such killjoys because I actually don't know why I thought they were being killjoys.
I know why, because they used to package it up as, oh, it's a big move. Like, you don't know if you'll like that way of life. Why don't you rent first to test it? But what we've learned by going through our own journey of this is that we already know that we like the country because we go there all the time. We know that works, so we don't need to test it in order to figure that one out. But by renting, you avoid stamp duty, you avoid whopping costs, upfront costs, and whatever else. Well, you can explain more, but it's more of a sensible option for us.
Yeah, and I think it's exciting as well. I think we can still romanticize the idea of renting somewhere, so we have been searching. It also means we can look at a slightly broader area, and then we get to try different things. We still want to long-term rent, so it would be, we're looking for rentals between 6 to 12 months.
Are we?
Well, 12 months really, because once you've moved in, it takes a month to move in, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely not 6 months. We're looking at 1 to 2 years, surely.
We are, and then with the option to extend if we really enjoy it. But I also think that there would be something quite exciting about moving and trying a new location for maybe a couple of years. So doing a year in each place.
Yeah, but I mean, that sounds cool, but there's a lot of stuff that we travel with. the process. Can you imagine how many hours and days? Oh my God, how long it would take to box this house up with everything in it.
Yeah, but we're not boxing up the whole house. We're staying here as well.
No, but we're going to take certainly a lot of this stuff over to wherever we land. Plus, then no doubt you'll fill it with fuck knows what.
Fucking 20 lampshades for one set of sconce lighting.
Fucking cue Lara Duke with a new takeover. Fuck.
Louise is next door being like, for fuck's sake. I think I'm a hoarder. Have you ever watched that show?
Yes, I've seen it.
Where they come in and there's someone that's such a hoarder that they can't move from their seat. They're literally
that gives me hives.
They've glued to the chair and they have to be forklift.
No, that's my worst
lifted
nightmare.
out of there.
That's my worst nightmare.
That's how we live.
No, what do you mean? Do you see this entranceway here? I know we've spoken about feng shui before.
Yeah.
But the fact that is blocking that way there is already stressing me out. That's how bad I am with like stuff.
I think you've got sensory issues. So we're on the hunt, and actually someone taught me a little tip that I should probably not share with you guys until we've at least proceeded with our own search, but I'm going to be generous here. Apparently a good way to find somewhere for one of these sorts of rentals is to look on websites for estates. So you know what an estate is?
That sounds expensive.
Just someone that owns like an estate within a county, and they tend to own lots of cottages within the estate. So there are lots of little smaller cottages on the properties, and you can inquire and find out whether they have rental opportunities that you will never find on something like On the Market or Rightmove or Zoopla or any of those places.
Okay.
So you've got to kind of like know where to dig.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm putting my feelers out, but I definitely really, 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 really think that we need to be in by Christmas because we're hosting this year.
That would be really fun.
There's quite a lot going on, isn't there? Because I'm also trying to buy somewhere in London. I have actually received an email from someone just now, which is quite exciting. So there's nothing on the market in London that I'm interested in, to the point where I'm actually about to start door knocking and writing letters to pop through people's letterboxes to ask whether they will sell their flat to me.
Is that the done thing?
You can do that. Lots of people buy their houses that way. Anyway, I've hunted high and low to find the contact details for a lady that owns this one very specific flat, which happens to be under a flat that I do own, that I really want. So it's tenanted, so I couldn't just go and knock on the door. And it's owned by this huge property holding company. I emailed the guy that's in charge of this company, and I had to email quite a few times to get a response. And then once I had an in, I found information about a few of these people that I knew I could connect with, schools that they'd been to,
right,
boards that they were on of companies. And I thought, now I know enough about you, I know how to pull on your heartstrings. So I'm going to send you the perfect email and pitch to you why you should sell your flat to me. And I've got a call later today with this total stranger.
Huh.
Shall I have a look at what? And the director themselves.
We can't do it today at 2 p.m. because we're going
No, I know.
lunch.
We've got another lunch meeting. But isn't that quite cool?
Yeah.
And it kind of lines up with what we were saying when we had dinner together last Friday about...
Where did we have dinner together last Friday?
Well, we went to Brook House, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Which does the best roast in London, by the way, on a Sunday, if you're interested.
Facts.
Big portions. We happened to be having a conversation that day about the idea of, well, just if you don't ask, you don't get. And I think that we're now at a stage in our life and in our careers and, you know, rising 40, where I think we need to be a bit more bolshy in business. Not bolshy, that's the wrong word. A bit more, what's the right word? Proactive.
Direct.
Proactive, direct. Go out there,
Accurate.
Find mentors, ask people for help.
Get what you want
initiate
from it.
those conversations, and I've started doing that,
Have
and
an
it's
agenda.
really paying off. And then that, as we were saying that, we bumped into someone that we knew in the pub, and they then introduced us to the founder of Oliver Bonus, the founder of Varley, all of these really interesting people. And we thought that that's not a sign. I feel like we manifested that in just by having that conversation. Anyway, I'm not really making a lot of sense here, but I'm about to get real direct.
Oh, God. You getting more direct is not something I want to be around.
Really? Yeah, but I'm not going to be direct with you, babe.
Smokes.
I don't think that's possible.
Speaking of signs, I keep seeing ladybirds. Are they ladybirds or ladybugs?
You can call them either, I think.
Should we go with birds? Because I do believe in signs, by the way.
Yeah.
And ladybirds keep arriving in the kitchen. In fact, one of them was like on Leo's hand the other day. And I'm like, do you know what they signify? Don't they signify new chapters, new beginnings? And I'm at a stage in my life where I'm like, there's a lot of new things happening.
Yeah. But you've taken that so far that when our accountant came round to the house to hang out or have this meeting last week, there was a ladybird that you could see in your, I don't know, like 20 meters away. And you were like, guys, can I just stop everybody? There's a ladybird over there. This is a sign. And I was like, this is just a boring accountancy meeting. I don't think this is
No, because it's a new accountant to me
anything.
with new plans, new strategies.
Yeah.
I do believe in signs. Is believing in signs the same as having a superstition? For example, 3 drains on a street, I don't walk over.
No,
And I don't let Leo...
or you don't walk under a ladder.
Well, obviously that, but 3 drains...
What do you mean, obviously that?
Well, I feel like that's just like a generic one. Like that's just probably not that safe to do regardless of like superstitions attached to it.
Okay.
But with 3 drains...
I feel like you're a daredevil though.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I do like to... I do live on the edge. But I do definitely don't walk over 3 drains.
You just reminded me of a conversation I had with Louisa yesterday where she was asking me about silly things that you believed when you were a child to be true.
Oh, I heard about this Capri-Sun shit.
And Louisa believed that the moon followed you everywhere, which is, I also think I believe that, because when you were driving on a long drive.
No, that's quite sweet though.
The moon does literally follow you everywhere. It's magic, isn't it? And even then in the daytime, you can see the moon when it's, I don't know why, but sometimes when it's a bit dark. But she believed that the moon was the hole in a Capri-Sun drink. She was living in a Capri-Sun. What, did you believe anything nuts when you were a child? What kind of superstitious things?
When I was a child.
Well, I actually don't think I did, but I don't think I was around particularly creative people that were trying to, story tell and encourage me to believe stuff, which is a bit boring, really. Anyway, back to signs. There
was one thing that happened the other day. So for a few years, I was the Kia UK ambassador, which was really cool. And then for whatever reason, I still don't know to this day, and it's a bit of a shady situation, but my contract basically got terminated early. And I don't know if it was because I was still driving a Defender, but I did say to them from the outset, I was like, if you just give me the car long term for the duration of the contract, I'll get rid of my car. They couldn't facilitate that. So anyway, the Kia thing went, and the Porsche thing has like started to trickle into my world. And it was a few weeks ago when a Porsche was delivered to literally outside there, and this green Porsche was rolling off the ramp. Okay, and bearing in mind that road is busy, there's cars up and down all the time. Yeah. And I got my phone out to take a video because I was like, oh, this is quite brilliant. Like a Porsche is being delivered to me. This is fun. And your dad was actually stood next to me. Anyway,
was he? The
Porsche rolls off. Just as the Porsche goes out of sight on the camera, a Kia EV9 rolls into frame.
Out with the old, in with the new.
And I was like, surely that's a sign. Because that's like, all right, see you, Kia. Hello, Porsche.
Yeah.
And that was one of those moments that you couldn't have planned that, like, in any world.
But also in the video that you were taking, there was only one car that drove past that way, which was that Kia.
Perfectly timed. The bonnet went out, shot, the bonnet came in. And I was like, oh my God, this is wild.
I think that they're everywhere if you want to look.
Is that a sign or is that serendipity? I don't always get confused. What's serendipity?
I don't know. I think they're both similar.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you think about having each other on a Find My Friends thing? Because I was with a mate the other day, and I didn't realise that this is like a very commonly done thing. But partners, boyfriends, husbands, wives, whatever, they often have each other on a map, on a Find My Friends app.
Do they?
And I'm like, yo, is that? I don't know how I feel about it because Well, I suppose actually from our perspective, we're always together, whether that's here or, I don't know, studio, I don't know, whatever it is. But it's weird. It's a weird one to have tracks on.
Find My Friends. I used to have that when I was at uni.
It is called Find My Friends, yeah. I hesitated because I do use the app, but I have it for like, where's my motorbike or where's my keys? Not like, where's my partner?
Oh, isn't that Find My though? Oh, Find My like iPhone.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because do you know what? And actually Louisa sat in there who I work with. This is quite interesting. I've lost my phone a few times in the house over the last couple of weeks, and I've had to use the Find My app where you can send an alert and it makes a noise so you can find it. And because we've got quite a few work devices on that saved under the same account, I then thought my phone was over in wherever I think like Louisa worked, and I panicked and I thought, oh my god, someone's still on my phone and they've taken it there. And then I realized, oh no, that's where somebody that I know that I work with lives. And I thought, oh my God, I now feel like a complete fucking stalker and I don't want to know that information. So I would want those people to turn that off because I think that what you don't know can't hurt you. And I was actually having a conversation with this lady who does my spray tans, who sometimes does use Sophie, who we love, with Tint Tan. She comes to the house weekly, should I admit that? And she's got a daughter who's 20 and she uses Snapchat, and I haven't used Snapchat in years, but I think all of that age group use it religiously. And apparently there's something on there called Snap Map.
Right.
All of her friends are on it. That's one thing. I also think that people can see people in your local area that aren't even your friends as well.
Really?
So she's at an all-girls school.
So it just shows all Snapchat users in your area?
I think maybe like people that are connected via somebody else. I'm not entirely sure. I need to kind of deep dive into it. But she, so Sophie's daughter is at an all-girls school. She's pretty innocent.
Right.
Their neighbour is a boy at an all-boys school. They're exactly the same age. The neighbour had moved in during lockdown and happened to be their travel agent, who they had somewhat of a relationship with. But the boy and the girl had actually never met before.
Right.
At separate schools. I think they'd heard each other kind of like in the garden over lockdown. The boy had been playing football, and I think the parents had suggested that maybe they do meet or something because they'd been quite lonely during lockdown, as everybody was. And they weren't interested. Anyway, it wasn't until they started getting hounded by friends who thought that they'd been dating because they'd been under the same location on Snap Map.
Oh.
So lots of random people, friends of theirs who knew both of them, had seen that it looked like they'd been staying the night together every single night. Huh. And they never even met. So they actually had to iron it out, and they decided to then go for a dog walk and talk about what had happened, because it became this huge drama that people were like, oh my God, I can't believe you're dating Will. I can't remember what their names were. And she was like, no, I've got no idea who you're talking about. So people were accusing her of being in a relationship. And anyway, and quite sweet actually, in the end, this couple, this pair, they went on a dog walk, and then they ended up going on another dog walk, and they did actually enjoy each other's company. So they then ended up dating, and I think they've been together for 3 years, which is gorgeous.
Quite sweet.
But it just goes to show how like invasive it is knowing where people are in your network all the time. And I think that then it's also a cause for concern when people see that all of their friends are at a coffee shop hanging out and you've not been invited. I'd hate that when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I think to take it up to where we are now, I would have no problem with sharing where I am with you. I think that there are elements that are useful from a safety perspective. So if I'm coming back from a friend's house quite late and I'm getting an Uber, I'll always share my location with you for an hour or 8 hours so that you'll always be able to track where I am.
I do like that.
Do you like that?
I
do that with quite a few people, and I sometimes ask my brother to do it and the people that I'm close with, because I like to know if I'm going to be with them that day.
Yeah.
Or I think if you're like at a festival, or there are uses for it that are practical, but I'm not sure.
For the live location share.
For the live location share. Yeah. But I don't know whether a full-time thing is helpful. Some friends of mine are on it with their husbands. I'm remembering now. I think Pelly and Tika are on it.
I would imagine it. Let's say that. Fast forward to Leo's 17 years old. I'd probably think about having it on his phone so I could see where he was.
Yeah, and I think a lot of parents do that for sure. Well, no, you say 17. You know how old children are when they're getting phones these days? They're 13.
Yeah, but that's
it's
why
when
I
they
said
start
17,
secondary
because Leo
school.
ain't getting one at 13.
Yeah, but if all of his friends are, I suppose it depends where he goes to school.
Imagine when Leo's 17, what an iPhone is going to look like then.
Well, also there'll be like $2,000 to buy, so he'll have to wait a few birthdays before he can earn himself one of those.
Well,
or you get like a little burner phone.
You can have a burner phone, yeah.
Actually, then you can't put the tracker on. We just put a little tracker on. Well, maybe
Stick an air tag.
I was going to say
duct
an
tape and an air tag to it.
Maybe kids will end up becoming. Maybe we'll all end up like dogs getting chips put underneath our skin. Wouldn't that be creepy? Then
I
you'd
don't
have to like cut them out of you. Like I had the weird contraceptive progesterone rod in my arm. They like implanted it in my arm.
How does that even work? I need to chat GBT. How does the rod actually work? Because does it release some sort of chemical or like shoot some hormones out or what? Or
I don't know how it knows to do it regularly.
Mate.
I feel like it's just a tiny little plastic rod. How does that release consistent hormones or hormone blocking?
The fact that women have to have, well, not have to, but having something.
Yeah, but would you rather have that or have to have a coil, which is a bit of metal put inside your vagina?
See, I don't
then sits blocking your cervix.
God, it's rough, man.
I know. Maybe we should just
use the femidom.
What's the femidom again?
A femidom.
Do you know what that is? That's where you have to put a cup inside your vag.
Well, yeah.
That's equally as invasive.
Does it?
Why don't you just strap up and start feeling a little less? Connies are the way forward.
I don't know if anyone uses femidoms. Does anyone use a femidom?
Have you ever dated a girl or slept with someone that's gone, oh no, don't worry, I'm safe because I've got a femidom in? Such a gross word.
Femidom is like Vagisil. It's like the thing that you see in Boots and you're like, surely no one's using that shit.
You're saying it like Megalodon, that like giant shark that lives in the ocean. You're like, femidom. It's just rolling off your tongue way too comfortably. You know what I keep getting emails from Harry is from this company called Anusol.
Oh my God.
What's that? Isn't that like anus cream?
Must be. It must be. Why is Harry sending you that?
I mean, I know I've had a lot of anal problems, but I don't think I need to start using Anusol. But no, femidoms, I've never tried one. I'm not that comfortable with putting things inside my vagina. Wait, what were we talking about just before? Why don't we download it now and then we can try find each other for a bit?
No.
Where would it be a problem for us? If you said, oh, I'm going out to meet, the only place you really go is to go out and meet your friend. I say friends, like you've got one friend. Friends, but then friend. And if I saw that you were somewhere in central London, I might just get a bit jealous that I'm not in that fun restaurant with you. Did you ever have a nanny growing up?
No.
Never?
No.
I had a nanny called Nikki when I was growing up who used to make me and my friends sit in the garden and make mud pies. Quite cute. Putting lots of mud into a little pot. What I only realised quite recently or remembered was that she then used to make us eat them. And so we were often eating ants. Isn't that disgusting? And she used to make us eat worms. And it dawned on me that that was definitely not normal. And I was having this conversation with my mum actually when we were away because we had a bit of quality time. And I mentioned it to her and she was like, oh my God, I had a bad feeling about her when she used to work with us. And apparently quite a few...
Well,
she kept her anyway up until a certain point, then replaced her. But she had quite a few friends' parents complain about her because apparently she was really mean. Isn't that quite scary?
Yes. When you say eat a mud pie, you mean like, just pretend to eat it?
No, like actually eat it, like swallowing the mud.
What?
Yeah.
Well, how old were you?
Between probably maybe like 5.
Right, so you were old enough to be like, no.
Yeah, but I didn't feel as though we could say no. I wonder if Sam remembers. It was mainly when I remember being with my friend Vol. Her nickname was Vol. She was cute.
That's a pretty savage story.
Isn't it? And then it made me think, gosh, if we ever got a nanny for Leo, we'd have to be really hot on the vetting process.
Well, we just wouldn't get one.
We did have a nanny though, for a little bit. And I wanted to get your opinion on a nanny and having a nanny and how that was for you, having someone around the house. She was Italian and didn't speak an awful lot of English. And she used to sing these hilarious songs.
I hated having her in the house.
Would you ever get another one then, if we were to have another baby?
No, no, I wouldn't. The only reason we had a nanny is because of our circumstance. If everything went to plan and it was all fine and we were home within 3 days and you recovered like that, my personal belief is that, I don't know, maybe it's a bit like having a personal trainer. Maybe you want to go on like a guide me for 6-12 weeks, show me how to do it, and then I got it. But people who have nannies from like 0 to 8, I'm like, But you've just handed over a responsibility. You've just delegated to someone else, and now your kids are eating worms and mud pies.
Or they prefer the nanny.
Yeah,
and they look up to the nanny
so
versus you.
I don't love the idea of nannies unless the circumstances are kind of like, what do they call it? Extenuating circumstances.
Maybe you'd be fine with a maternity nurse who does do that onboarding thing at the beginning.
Yeah. But listen, this is like every circumstance is very different. But like generally, the idea of a nanny is not something that I would choose to do.
What about a manny?
It's the same answer, isn't it?
It's the same answer.
Yeah. Well, actually, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
A manny to a really high net worth couple. He had a great life. But I never thought that he'd be a manny. But
like to give you an example, we've tried and tested the idea of like going on holiday with a nanny. I personally didn't enjoy it at all. She was just like another thing that we had to be semi-responsible for. When she would like hammer the like fresh fruit platters in the fridge at the hotel, I'd be like, "What are you doing? That's clearly for Leo / what are you doing?" Stuff like that would drive me nuts. And then like on the airplane, you know, there's this like awkward territory of like, are you on or off the clock right now? Because you can see me struggling on this long flight to the Caribbean, and you're just horizontal with an eye mask and earplugs in.
Yeah, and actually they're getting paid to then travel with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's an us problem because we're quite bad. Well, you're better than I am, but with boundaries. So we would need to be more grown up about that if we were to ever hire anybody again. The only thing I don't think we need it now because Leo's at nursery and then he'll be starting school next September.
Well, absolutely, we don't need a nanny. And we love hanging out with
him on the weekends. I have friends, though, who can't tolerate parenting on the weekend because they've got... Well, this is actually the guy...
Well, that just makes me angry.
That I was at uni with, he... said to his partner that he wanted to get a nanny for the weekends. They had one midweek, but he wanted to extend it onto the weekend and then went on to have a second child. And I'm like, look, clearly you don't love parenting, so don't go and have more kids.
Yeah, so I just think that's bullshit though. Like we always joke about like, God, like we need a weekend after the weekend almost because weekends have become so activity focused and you're bouncing around from different things and it's very much kid focused, but that's fine. Like, yeah. It is what it is. Like I'm just so aware that there will come a time in our life where we'll be like, shit, what do we do? We'll miss the time of going from swimming to jiu-jitsu to tennis to whatever else he's doing.
Yeah, I think it's nice to be there for everything as much as we can. And that's just our style of parenting.
Leo is about to be 4 in a few months and I just don't want to miss any more moments. And I just think having a nanny or a manny or a maternity carer or whatever, unless the circumstance is different and you need the support, which lots of people do, my belief is that it's on you.
So here I've got a question then, because a lot of people that I know are really good parents and they do have nannies for the reason that when your child then goes to school, they finish at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And if both parents are working in offices away from home and have a normal working day, which might be 8 hours, 9 hours, then how do they actually get back in time to pick up their child from school?
Right. So that's why I said, like, depending on your circumstances.
But what do you think we will do when we get to that point?
Good question. I don't know. I suppose my hope is that Louisa. My hope is that when he finishes school at what time is it? 3:30.
Yeah, 3:30. I think there are clubs they can do, but
I'll be there to scoop him up and be like, dude, we're going to jiu-jitsu. Roll him into that for an hour, and for the most part, like I can work on the bounce wherever I am. So
you'd rather do that.
Well, I just want to be involved. I want to be involved in like the journey from school to his club, or from picking him up and going to a play date with a friend. I want to be involved in those moments as much as possible.
Well, those are the moments where the little magic things happen and you have those funny conversations in the in-between moments, getting around from A to B, which a lot of people then, those logistical moments are the ones that people pass off onto somebody else to take care of. But I think I'm in agreement, and I think if we could find a way to make it work with both of us, then we'd just get to spend more time with him in the afternoon and we'd alternate.
I had a nightmare the other night.
You did?
When I got turfed out of the bedroom and ended up in the spare room.
You ended up in the spare room?
Yeah.
Oh, you were in the spare room. Sorry, I've been sleeping in his bed.
I had a nightmare. You and Leo got shot. And I basically didn't sleep from about 2 onwards. And it was just like obviously a very traumatic nightmare. And don't know, it's just since then it's like shit. Like anything could happen at any point to anyone. And I just think being as present as possible with your loved ones is really the most important thing.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of a deep way of answering the question, but just I don't like the idea of just palming it off. And to give you like a really clear illustration of this, recent holiday to the Pelagoni Club, amazing. You booked ahead of time a week of crash care. We didn't use it once because we didn't want to miss the moments of him swimming and getting better in the pool, more confident jumping into the sea, whatever it is. Like, he didn't go once. And I said to you at the time, I was like, dude, cancel that. Like, we don't need to put him into a crash. We want to be with him.
Do you understand my reasoning for booking the crash, though?
No.
Well, I'll explain it to you. It was so that because he's an only child, that he could get the opportunity to play with other kids that are between the ages of 3 and 5 in that little mini group, so that he can play with fun teenagers that are heading up those play groups and learn from other kids. But I guess he gets enough of that anyway when he's at nursery. But it didn't come from a place where I was trying to, not hang out with him.
No, I know that.
I did want to ask you, and I don't know whether this would be a hard thing for you to answer. Well, I guess I'm coming at this from a caring place. I wanted to see how you were doing since the birth of your godson, Charlie. And I guess that sounds like an odd question to ask. But the reason I think I'm asking, I want to know how you're doing because our really good friends have had like a really seamless transition into parenthood, and it couldn't have been more different to our transition into parenthood. And I want to know whether that is affecting you and whether you're okay saying that.
Well, let me first say they are incredibly special people and I'm really close to them. So I'm happy that it's turned out the way it's happened. And to see them arrive home as I think maybe 3 days after having the baby, or even less, 3 days. I think that's incredible, and that's the way it should be. And I hope that's the way it is for many people. But I do remember receiving a picture message on WhatsApp moments after Charlie sort of arrived into the world, and he was straight onto mummy's chest, and they were looking into camera smiling, not really looking too disheveled or stressed, just quite peaceful. And that photo set me off. I haven't told him this. I haven't really told many people this, but it did send me into a slight regression, I suppose. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel resentful. I just felt something was really stirred up in me. And I think I think my feeling was, I wish that was the version I had, or we had. I wish that we had the straight onto mummy's skin moment. I wish we had that kind of like in your scrubs outfit with your silly hats and your photos.
Yeah.
Instead we had separation of mum and baby. He's in a glass box in NICU. And, the first picture we had was, I think maybe 2 days where I wheeled you in a wheelchair, looking all swollen and tubes everywhere. And I had really shitty, like scraggy blonde bleached hair at the time, but there's a photo of you holding him, and it was just so different to how like anyone would hope. And so basically when I saw the photo of them as a 3 with their blue scrubs on, looking peaceful and happy, my mind went back to all of these flashing moments of the version that we had. And it was I had a very sad day as a result, internally. Didn't let that really show to anyone. I think I told you maybe the evening of that.
You did look not look sad, but I felt that for you.
In a normal circumstance, I would have clicked forward straight away. But I didn't forward it to you because I felt somehow that I should shield it. I didn't want you to go through that same experience of, like, obviously, first and foremost, really pleased and happy, but oh, fuck's sake, like, such a kill shot that we didn't have that version.
That's really thoughtful of you. I wonder how many other people have felt uncomfortable about sending a newborn photo to us,
Well, yeah.
or even a pregnancy announcement.
But interestingly, when I met Charlie for the first time and went over to see him, I had none of these feelings. It's almost like it just evaporated from my body entirely. And I just had a long cuddle with him and almost not viewed him as my own, but like just I felt very connected to him because of my relationship with Carlos and Sophie and the fact that I've been given this role, which, by the way, I take really. I know that we joke about like godparents and whatever else, but
yeah, I joke about presents and that you're not very good at buying them.
no, but
You're very good.
Yeah, but I'm like that with my own family, and I owe you probably like 5 birthdays worth. But I just think the role and like the significance of being asked to be a godparent is really special.
Absolutely. And you are an amazing godparent already to that little boy. I'm good at the gifts.
No, but I will make up for that in my way. I really will. I'll make sure I will.
Oh no, but you put in the time.
In fact, this weekend I'll have 2 godsons with us.
Will you? Are they both going to come?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's going to be Ryan with his 3 boys.
Yeah, my 3 boys. Well, let me just live in that and just experience that.
Yeah, and then
you'll be like, do you want more?
Yeah, I'm gonna
No.
watching on.
Yeah, no, maybe I do.
Well, I think whatever happens in our own family, whether we're able to grow it or not, and whatever our fertility journey looks like in the future, I know that you're going to be an amazing godfather.
Thank you.
And it's really lovely to see.
How many godchildren do you have?
I've only got 1.
Yes.
1 girl. You've got 2 boys. I've got 1 girl.
Who's your girl, Vera?
Yeah, I love her. I've got a listener submission.
Okay.
Okay. Hey guys, given your recent travels, I was wondering if you had any tips or insights for your first holiday without your child. I'm gearing up for a few nights away for my friend's 40th birthday in Italy. On one hand, I know I'll love the much needed downtime from our hectic schedules and the daily demands of a toddler. On the other hand, I know I'll likely be crippled with anxiety the closer it gets to the trip, as I'm not great with flying and will no doubt dwell on the worst case scenarios.
No, well, this is you.
I know my son will be in safe hands.
You can answer this
but
one.
I'm really struggling to let go. Thought I'd reach out as I think you could have some really useful advice on this.
Well, I'll just sit back and wait for you to roll on that.
God, there's such rare pockets of time that I think you really need to enjoy this weekend. I get it on the anxiety front. I'm pretty petrified of flying, as Ryan will attest to. Actually, Charlie, who we work on this podcast with, taught me an amazing trick that if you are scared of turbulence, all you've got to do is shake your head like this, like you're just move it around more than the turbulence is shaking you, and then you won't actually feel it.
Wow.
Inevitably, you will feel a bit nervous that this is the first time you're leaving your child behind and you're going overseas. But remember, it's just really important for kids to spend time with different people. So whoever you're leaving your son with, whether it's your partner or someone else, other family members, that it's good for them to be away from you for a bit and try to enjoy it. I think it's the same as, when you go away without your other half. Distance makes the heart grow stronger, and it's nice to come back and then be reunited and have stories from your trip that you can share with one another, and you'll notice different things in your child, and it's crazy how much they can change even over a couple of days. Leo seems to be growing like a centimetre a day at the moment. He's just shooting up and spilling out these new sentences every morning that I wake up next to him, and I think, oh gosh, I don't want to miss those moments, but you have to.
I would say that this question is something that near enough every parent will relate to. And within that, there's a sort of security and safety and reassurance, because it's very normal to feel that way. And parenting guilt when you leave your little ones behind, when you go away on holiday or for a work trip, I've certainly felt it, and it's a tricky one.
I think there's
the more you do it, the more comfortable your kids and the more comfortable they are with it. They sort of realize that, oh, mummy or daddy, they are going to come back. They're just going to go and do their thing for a little while. And as you really quite rightly suggested, like the more time they spend in different company, that also will help their development and confidence and build their relationships.
And there's no better feeling in the world than when you do come back and you're reunited with them. So it's almost worth going just for that moment.
Well, that's
fun.
Yeah, that's the exciting part of it, isn't it? Because like every parent will feel pretty crap when they like get on the plane and they're like, oh, Leo's not here. But when you know, even before you arrive home, the days out, you get so excited to see them again. And you hold a little bit tighter, you kiss a little bit more on the cheeks, and you end up having this refreshed energy and love. Even if it's like a day or two that you step out for.
Yeah. You
and
need
that's
to break
healthy.
up the routine.
Yeah.
I think how stagnant things get otherwise. You start to really just not value each other's company when you're running the same drill over and over again on that hamster wheel. If you don't break away, then you're not going to know what you're missing.
We missed Leo dearly when we were in Croatia and he was in Devon. But we knew that he was having a great time. And when he came home, it was almost like having a newborn again. It's like, this is so dope.
So the one thing that I would say, if you can do this, especially if you're only going away for a weekend, I'd probably not speak to them. I'd probably avoid a FaceTime because they're going to get upset. Like there's no world in which they're not going to cry, and that's going to make you feel 10 times worse. So we learned that this time around when we went to Croatia. We've only been away from Leo twice. When we did it the first time for your birthday, so around about this time last year, and we went to Ibiza with Sam. We FaceTimed day one and he was in floods of tears and it was pretty devastating.
Yeah.
And so then we couldn't get off the phone. It was harder for your parents that were looking after him.
Yeah.
And it like puts a bit of a dampener on those next few hours. So I just like go enjoy your girly time and everything will be exactly the same, if not better, when you get home.
Yeah. Nice. Always nice chatting to you, Louise. We'll do this again next Monday for the AUA.
Yeah.
Which will be a short little nose into our rascal lives. And then we'll be back on Wednesday for a full debrief.
Yeah.
We got a lot of exciting stuff happening this back end of this week and weekend with celebrations and
I know there's so many birthdays. All of our friends are Leos. We love August birthdays.
We got Leah,
they're the best star
sign. We got
sign.
Sam, we got Ryan, we got Louisa, we got Max.
Flo,
who else? Anyone?
Leo's
Flo.
godmother.
We got my sister-in-law.
It's a fire sign as well, isn't it?
JP. There's loads of people we know. Go on, say it. Go on, say it. Say your ex.
Oh, my ex. Yes. My ex.
Get the
is
weekly
also a
ex
Leo.
mention in there.
One of the big ones, one of the big names. A few of them were very compatible, Aries and Leos. We spoke about that in an early episode. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening and we'll see you guys soon. Please do remember to follow us on whichever audio platform you listen on and give us a subscribe over on YouTube too. Ciao.
Ciao for now.